Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Papi Brit, and welcome to the Platicando con Papi podcast. If it's your first time here, then welcome. And if you've been here before, then welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me and making space for me as well. I really do appreciate the people that watch my podcast, that take the time to actually listen, and that appreciate it and look forward to it. So, yeah, we're finally back. It's been 2 weeks since I last posted, and I feel like I really did need those last 2 weeks to kind of like get myself together and figure out what was really going on inside. Because if you didn't watch my last podcast or listen to it, I basically had a breakdown and I literally hopped on, no makeup, no plan, literally just hopped on and decided to talk. And a lot of people did not like that episode, and I know that like people are uncomfortable when other people cry. They hate talking about sad topics and stuff like that. So a lot of people were uncomfortable kind of listening to me and watching me cry. And honestly, for me, I don't see crying as a bad thing. I'm a very emotional person, and I'm literally a Scorpio moon. We actually just had a full moon in Scorpio last night. And so I just let myself feel things heavily, and I don't see it as a sign of weakness. Um but I did realize that it is a feeling that I did not want to feel like again. I wanted to feel inspired again. I wanted to feel creative again. I wanted to feel confident and happy and fulfilled again. And so that was kind of like a low where I was like, I want to figure out what is going on, what it is that's bothering me, what the universe is trying to teach me right now. And so I took these last 2 weeks to kind of figure that out, and a lot of things were unveiled. I mean, it is also eclipse season and Mercury retrograde, and so there's been a lot of really heavy energy. It's also the age of Aquarius, and I'm an Aquarius stellium, so I'm feeling things very heavily, but I know everything's working in divine timing, in divine order, how it's meant to for me. So I have to just kind of remind myself that everything that happens for a reason. Everything's divinely orchestrated, and that I am divinely protected. So yeah, I kind of wrote down basically what life has been teaching me, and feel very grateful right now. I'm at a very reflective time in my life right now, and I'm feeling very grateful for everything. A lot of things have kind of changed and shifted in my life as of recently, but I feel like everything is pushing me to grow and become a better person. So it's all kind of worth it for me. So even if it kind of sucks sometimes and it's hard, I feel like it all has a meaning and a purpose. But basically, I made a list, and then I also just kind of wrote down. I also have a bunch of screenshots of things that kind of just resonate with me. And I always post on my Instagram things that resonate with me as well. So if you guys don't follow me, I'm literally always reposting on my story. It's kind of annoying, but I'm like, if it resonates with me, it might resonate with someone else, and it usually does. So I repost. I'm a quote ass bitch. I quote. I love quotes. I love motivational shit like that. So yeah. uh Sorry for that spiel. Actually, I'm not sorry. But yeah, before we get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things. I'm also going to be including a link below in case you want to support the podcast further and do like a subscription thing. You can do like $1, $5, $10, whatever. But it actually does help me out. And yeah, if you want to support me in the podcast and have the means to do so, that's also appreciated, but never necessary, okay? But anyways, yeah, number one is you're gonna figure it out like you always have. I had been really stressed. As you guys know, I just got a new job, and it had been a lot of different shifts and a lot of learning. There's been shifts in management, and it's been a lot to take in. And it had also been the really, really slow season for the restaurant. So it was very scary because not only was I like brand new, so I was learning, and like if it's I work somewhere where like you can't fuck up, it's very cutthroat. So like just having to learn everything and try to do my best. And I've never worked in fine dining. It was just very stressful, and like they will fire you if they need to. So I was just like, I need to get my shit together, figure it out. Not that I didn't have my shit together, but like be the best that I can be. And it's been a lot of learning, but it had been super duper slow. And to the point where like one week I literally got called off one day. The next day I made like $50. I got called off another day that week, and it had just been so slow. And I had been stressed because I had just paid rent, and like the bills do not stop. So like I was just really, really stressed with work. And one day, I went to work. It was a random day, and this guest randomly asked me like, "Oh, like how's your day going?" And I was like, "Oh, it's good. Would be better if someone just gave me $1,000." And he was like, "Oh, well, let me start a tab with you." And I was like, "What?" And then he like came and found me later, and he was like, "Yeah, let me start a tab." He bought a bottle for this group of girls. He started buying hella drinks. His tab ended up at like $500, and we autograph with parties of five or above. So it was auto graded. And then when he was about to go walk into the bathroom, and he like stopped me, and he was like, "Oh, like I left you your tip on there." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went over there. Yeah, left the receipt on the table. My manager was looking at it, and he's like, "Damn, he took really good care of you." And then I look at it, and he had given me my $1,000. And I literally, when I tell you, I was like about to cry. I was like so grateful, and I was like, "Where is this man?" So I waited for him to come out of the bathroom, and I was like damn near in tears, and I was like, "You don't know what this means to me. Like, thank you so much." I literally hugged him. I was like in tears. I was like, "You don't know how much you just helped me." And he was like, "Really? Like, if it can help you, like, I'm happy to do that. Like, como si nada." And I was like, that was literally like an angel. Like, I had been so stressed. Y de la nada, I don't know. I did not expect that. And that's why I'm always open to receiving from the universe in whatever ways the divine wants it to happen. Because never in my life did I think he would actually just tip me like that. But I like put it out into the universe jokingly, and that kind of reminds me that words do have power. And so I need to be careful about what I say and what I attract and what I focus my energy on. But I was literally so grateful. Like, I was so blessed in that moment, and I didn't post it immediately because, evil eye and stuff like that. So it's been a few weeks, and I just posted it like a couple of days ago. But like I posted because I want to show that like good things do happen to good people. Like, I always say, like, I try to bless people as much as I can, and I know that the blessings will come back to me tenfold. Like, even when I don't have shit to give, I still give what I can, because I know that the universe is only going to multiply that. So yeah, it was just a reminder that till this day, even on my worst, most stressful, most down days, when I thought I wouldn't be able to figure something out, like when I was in college and thought I wasn't gonna pass a class or be able to make rent, or I don't know, whatever it was. I remember instances where I didn't have money at all, and I was in the library, and someone would randomly just cash at me $10 to buy a coffee and some biscuit. And I was just like so grateful for that. And it was just like the universe has always blessed me and guided me. So why would it fail me now? Two, the right people will gravitate. Everything is divinely protected. Again, that just comes back to the universe putting who and what you need in your path when you need it. Whether it had been that guy that tipped me $1,000, or just recently I had been really going through it with my hate comments and stuff, and I had this regular who I had met when I first started at my job, and I hadn't seen him since, and I had been thinking about him, and I saw him. He stopped me, and he was like sitting at the bar. I hadn't seen him, and he's like, "Hey kid, like, I watch all your shit, right?" He's like, "I love what you're doing with the podcast. Like, I listen to your podcast. I follow you on everything." And he's like, "I can't believe the way these men talk to you." And he was like, "You keep doing you." He's like, and he told me, he's like, "The link that you've been putting on your podcast for people to support you doesn't work." He's like, "I tried." And he was like, I want to support you. I want you to keep going, keep talking, keep making these guys mad, keep being authentically you, keep being relentless in what you do. Like, keep going, keep talking. Like, and he just like really like uplifted me, and he was like, real men love women. And it was like such a good reminder that the men in my life like love me and genuinely support me. The real men in my real life actually do love and support me and want to help me and uplift me in whatever way they can, and I'm very, very blessed for that. I was just another angel in another instance where I was like dead ass like struggling, and the universe just fucking came through for me. Like, the universe just continues to come through for me, and like everything he told me was so motivational, and basically everything that I needed to hear. He like reminded me that there are people that genuinely care about me, that do want to see me do well, that do support me, and that love me authentically for exactly everything that I am, you know? So, yeah, the right people will gravitate. And it just happens to me so often where people will deliver a message or say something or whatever that it's exactly what I needed, or be exactly what I need at that time. So the right people will always gravitate, and I am very divinely protected. The universe has me so protected, and I have angels all around me. And sometimes I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm very, very, very blessed. And I'm blessed that my mom's prayers keep me protected too. She just did a limpia on me, which I feel like always helps me too. So I'm feeling very grateful, very protected. I know that everything that is in my life, I feel okay to share, because I know that it's mine and that the universe will never give me or take anything away from me that isn't meant for me. So, yeah. Anyways, 3, authenticity will always be the way. It may take longer, but the results are also longer lasting. And that just goes back to me really holding my ground and my boundaries when it comes especially to this podcast. And so I'm trying to make it so that it really is authentic to me, and that no one can say she got this because of anyone but myself. Me being authentic is gonna irritate a lot of people and bore a lot of people and whatever the fuck else, but someone told me like that I need to stop talking so much about my life, and I need to stop like focusing so much on me and do more like topics about like that will relate to a lot of people. But when it comes down to it, like, this is my world, this is my podcast, and the one thing I will never run out to talk about will be me and my life. And the one thing I can always speak on and that I can speak the most about is me and my life and my journey. And so I'm going to continue to speak about that. And I know that it resonates with a lot of people, because people will message me after and say, hey, like, I related to you talking about growing up with your siblings and all having to share a room and how hard that was, or not having papers, or, you know, being low income, or whatever it is. Like, I have people that will message me and talk about that with me and say that they feel seen and heard, and that's what matters to me. So it is what it is. I'd rather have people that genuinely support me and watch me stick around and have it be 500 people than have 10,000 people that don't even actually watch my content and are just, you know. So, yeah, you will never feel worthy in a space that doesn't see your value. That does not mean that the value is not there. You cannot give more of what already isn't appreciated in hopes of it being loved and appreciated. And that just goes back to me realizing that you will never be valued in a place that doesn't value what you have to offer. I saw this picture of a fucking like Corvette or something, and dusty as fuck, in a like it was a classic or a really nice fucking car, but estaba todo en un like garage door derrumbado, and it was a nice ass fucking car, but the people that probably had it just didn't see the value in it, so no lo cuidaban. That doesn't mean that there wasn't value there. I mean, for me, it's been reflected a lot in like dating, where sometimes I see people's lack of effort or like inconsistency and stuff like that as a challenge for me to prove myself to them. Like, I try to like love them into loving me, and I have had to realize that like I will never feel valued in a space that already doesn't see my value. I show up authentically and wholly into everything that I do and everything that I am. And when I love someone, I literally like pour everything out. I put everything on the table. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And so trying to give someone more of me and more of my love when they already don't value what I've given them isn't gonna make them want me more. You know, como que es hasta más se fastidian. It's like you give someone chocolate cake and they're not big fans of chocolate cake, and in hopes of them actually starting to like chocolate cake, you keep trying to shove it down their throat. Bitch, they already told you they don't like chocolate cake. Like, you're not going to convince them to like it more by giving them more of it. That also applies to you and to your love. And I had a friend que reached out to me, and he was like, hey, like, I'm coming to you, like, because I don't feel like I can really talk about my feelings to anyone else. Like, valoro tu, like, input and stuff like that. But he was like, dude, like, anytime I'm talking to a girl, like, I get invested and, like, I start to really care, and I think it's going to go somewhere. Y de la nada, it goes to shit. He's like, and I feel like I always like do my best and I always love, and I'm that type of person too. I'm always the one that loves the hardest, and it's always so disappointing because I'm like, I'm not doing, like, what am I doing wrong? And I've realized that I am just seeking people out that are emotionally unavailable and trying to prove myself to people that will never see my worth, and not seeing them for who they are. I tend to put people on a pedestal and idolize them and try to see the best in them, when in reality, they're showing me the lack of effort. They're showing it to me, but I try to make excuses for people when in reality, I need to see them for what they are and what they're showing me rather than what they're telling me. And I've realized that, like, I'm at a point where I have no interest in dating anybody. I have realized that I am the most happy and the most free and the most fulfilled when I am by myself, authentically myself, and where I don't feel like I need to make myself small or compromise what I want for someone else. And I've realized that, like, the person that I'm with is gonna have to basically find me and be a person that is looking for the same things that I am, and I'm realizing right now that my job right now is just to show up, to continue to record my podcast, to network, to go to the gym, to go to yoga, to show up for my family, to show up for my friends. Next one is, there will be people who act like they don't see you shining. Shine anyway. Don't wait around to receive flowers. Give them to yourself. And this goes metaphorically and physically. I am the type of person that always buys myself flowers. I love flowers. And at one point, I remember I was like in high school, and like guys never really liked me like that, and I was like, oh my god, I can't wait till like a guy buys me flowers. And I got to a point where I'm like, I love fresh flowers. I love flowers. Why am I going to wait around for someone to give them to me when I can just buy them for myself? Why am I going to deprive myself of something simply because someone else isn't giving it to me, or wait around until someone else gives it to me? I can just give it to myself. And that's why I'm so adamant about like not waiting around for people and doing things alone. Like, that's why I like will go to concerts alone or book trips alone or whatever, because I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, if I want to go to a concert, I will go. Like, I'm not gonna wait around and be sad because I can't go because I can't find someone to go with me. I'm like, full send, I'm not gonna miss out. So I've just gotten to a point where I'm going to pour into me and give myself those flowers physically and metaphorically, and not wait until other people give me those like affirmations. Like, I should be giving that to myself. Everything else should be like extra or whatever. But yeah, basically just recognizing that life waits for no one, and the person that you should seek the most love and validation from is yourself first, and that's who you should love and validate first anyway. So Yeah. The next one is people can only see as deep as they have seen themselves. You can either live a life trying to explain yourself or go where you're heard without speaking and understood without having to over explain yourself. I've came to the realizations that a lot of people have these warped images and ideas of who I am and these opinions of the lifestyle I choose to live because they have their own worldview and their own limiting beliefs as to what a life is supposed to be. I have men constantly commenting that me voy a quedar dejada, that I'm going to live a miserable life, that I'm probably miserable right now, which I'm not, because I need a man. And my life will always be unfulfilled unless I have a man. And I was having a conversation with my best friend on Monday. We went to dinner, and she's a very, very successful woman. She is someone I deeply look up to. I admire her so much. And she is very set on the fact that she does not want kids. And we were just talking about the fact that, like, a lot of people can't fathom that there is a life outside of the traditional wife and kids or husband and kids dichotomy that people have creative. Is that even the right word? Right? Is it dichotomy? Now I'm going to ask. No, dichotomy is when something is like two things, right? Not me trying to sound smart. No, the dichotomy, yeah. Yeah, like people can't picture like, well, there is a dichotomy. It says a division or contrast between two things that are or are represented as being opposed or entirely different. Oh, I guess it would be like people can live in a dichotomy or that we live in a dichotomy. I don't know, but basically that people can have different lives. Like, I realize one of my triggers is also like the dumbass paisas that comment on my podcast kind of are a trigger for me because I grew up with a dumbass paisa brother who literally pisses me off. He was on my YouTube, or he was on my live earlier, and he was talking shit, and he was like, I was cooking, and he's like, hasta el agua quemas, blah blah blah, like you like the dumbasses would comment and try to like hate on me, but people don't realize that he's my brother, so he can talk shit to me. But these other guys saying like, oh, she probably doesn't cook, no sirve para nada, like she could never be a housewife, no man would ever want her, this and that, start to feed into it. And I was telling him, I was like, brother, like, I cannot have you commenting hate like towards me because then these other dumbasses like feed into it. But I asked him to be on my podcast so I can interview him and so we can get his perspective of what it's like to have a thought sister. Just kidding. But dude, like my brother, he's so funny to me because he's the type that will like, obviamente me regaña because like obviously he wants me to be safe, but he respects the fact that like I have chosen to live a different life than what he chose. He's married with kids, he's very traditional, whatever, and I appreciate that and I love him for that. But he understands that I've chosen a life where I want to be free, where I want to travel, where I want to live on my own, where I want to be independent, and he respects that too. I am his kid's madrina for a fucking reason, okay? But I sent him this thing. We're like funny because we're not really good at like showing emotion and stuff, but sometimes we'll send each other emotional ass TikToks about like my brother, mi carnal, like we both know what we went through, like we love each other, like I don't know where I would be in life without you type shit. But it said, un hermano te regaña, te corrige, pero siempre estará ahí para apoyarte y cuidarte. And he hearted it, and he said, even if you burn the water with a heart, for him to use a heart is crazy. But yeah, so I want to have him on my podcast, but I realized that was definitely a fucking trigger. But I've realized that there's certain things that people just don't understand or don't see as a possibility. That doesn't mean that it's not there. You know what I mean? We all live in different lives, have had different experiences, have different worldviews, and so we see things differently, and that's okay. Yeah, people can only meet you at their own level of consciousness. It's like, you know, for example, people can't fathom certain things, so they don't think it's possible. For example, when I say like this person sent me $1,000 just because, or gave me $1,000 just because they could. Men think that, like, I got this comment saying that, like, I was sucking dick and I was like hooking up with all the men at Twin Peaks and blah blah blah, and I'm like, never in my life have I ever had to do anything for money. And like, I'm very blessed that blessings from the universe show up in different ways for me, and I'm very grateful for that. People for some reason have always wanted to, like, me dan regalitos, or they bring me stuff back that reminds me them of me, or I don't know, just like will randomly cash at me $5 for coffee or whatever, like cualquier cosa. Like, people, I receive random acts of kindness all the time, but I think it's because I give random acts of kindness all the time, and so people can't fan them certain things. They can't fan them that people just want to love and support me because maybe they haven't had that. And like, a lot of people can only give what they have, and if people only have hate within their heart, that's all they can give. And certain people can't fathom certain things because that's not their reality, and that's okay. Anyways, another few things that I wrote down. As you guys know, I listened to Flavor Vivid. She is one of my favorite readers. Everything she says always resonates. She does a lot of readings for Capricorn and Aquarius, and I love watching both of them. They always really resonate with me. And I wrote some of the things that resonated in her last reading. One of them being, if you can't appreciate what you have, there can't be room for more. Also, with that, I've also been very big on gratitude. I was really going through it and having really bad anxiety, and I mentioned that at work, and my manager overheard it, and he was like, hey, like, just think about this. The same place that creates anxiety in your brain is also the same place that creates gratitude in your brain. So you can't simultaneously be anxious and grateful. It's one or the other. So when you're feeling anxious, kind of ground yourself and bring yourself back to gratitude. And I've been really trying to do that to myself and really appreciate what I have and be grounded in all the blessings that I do have, and focusing on the love that I do receive, and focusing on the people that do show up for me. So it's been good because by me appreciating what I have, it has really allowed me to receive more. And I've realized that taking the time to kind of just sit back and release control and just really focus on what you can control and show up to what you can control and work on those things will also really help. Taking the time to just kind of slow down and soak in all of my blessings has really helped, not only with my anxiety, but allowed me to be in a place of gratitude and in a place where I feel where I can receive as well. So yeah, I've been trying to clear out my space as well to make room for different things and allow myself to evolve in that way as well. Focus on the blessings. In order to attract your soul tribe, you need to be authentic. Age of Aquarius, I wrote that down just because as a reminder that it is the age of Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius stellium. Aquarius focuses on authenticity, breaking cycles, breaking norms, stuff like that. So I really need to take into consideration that I am being heavily affected by that. Confidence is a form of protection. It attracts the right people and repels the wrong ones. Be so authentic in yourself, so safe that everyone around you feels safe to do the same. Healthy people are the most attractive, and that's not just in regards to physical. Being healthy energetically, emotionally, it radiates. And I know that when I'm in my healthiest headspace, I know I can even feel it, the difference between my last podcast to this one. And it's because I've taken the time to figure out what was still inside me that was causing those negative emotions, and figuring out what life was really trying to teach me. And it feels like a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I feel like I'm constantly going through these cycles where I feel like I hit a low, and that's when everything kind of shows itself, and I'm constantly evolving. So feel like I'm constantly getting thrown through the ringer, but every time I learn something, so it's okay. People who feel good about themselves make other people feel good too. The opposite is also true. That goes back to giving what you have. The people who feel good will make others feel good. And that just kind of speaks for itself. People create lies about you so that they don't have to be honest about themselves. Someone's lack of reciprocation and appreciation is not a challenge to convince them of my worth. Life is going to work out perfectly. All the right things are going to happen. All the right people are going to come, and all the wrong people are going to leave. You're going to have a beautiful home that brings you peace. You're going to have a dynamic career that gives you purpose. You're going to wake up next to the love of your life and spill sweet words over morning coffee. You're going to have slow Sundays and wholesome holidays. Your art is going to be impactful, and you're going to be recognized for your devotion. You're going to travel and see the world, and you're going to encounter incredible people along the way. You're going to be seen for who you are and appreciated for all that you do. Don't worry so much, my friend. Life is going to work out perfectly. También son logros, los finales, las renuncias, los límites, soltar y empezar de cero. Si te duele, conviértelo en pintura, en poesía, en música, en abrazos, en llanto, pero no lo dejes dentro. And that's why when things hurt, when things feel heavy, like that's literally why I hop on this podcast and I let it down. And it feels good. Or even just working out, whatever it is. My rage intensifies because I am not a victim. It burns in my psyche with an intensity that creates clarity. It is a constructive healing rage. It is a way for us to learn to see clearly. This is by Bell Hooks. I used to love Black literature and all of the activists and feminist women that especially women of color. I read a lot of them in college, and Bell Hooks was definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, it's just a reminder to use rage and anger and whatever you feel, any emotion that you want to transmute into something positive. And that's what I really try to do. Me crying, me being sad, me being upset, feeling the rage from the hate that I received, transmuting that into something positive and trying to see how I can use that to propel me forward, to motivate me in the gym, to motivate me to keep recording, to motivate me at work, to motivate me to be and do better, and to remind myself that I am the love of my life and that I will always win because I have pure intentions and I'm divinely protected. And when you move with love, you receive it back. And when you move with good intentions, the universe rewards you for that. And it is what it is. So, yeah. I think that's mostly all of them. Yeah, make sure you're not seeking validation from a world that does not have the range to understand you. You still haven't met all the people who are going to love you. And yeah, I think that's mostly it. But yeah, that's a quick little update on where I am, where I've been, what I've been learning, what life has been teaching me. I feel like I'm in a better place right now. I'm very grateful for all of the support and the love that I have received from the people in my life, but also from the divine. I'm very blessed and I'm feeling very grateful and protected. And yeah, we go through it, but we grow through it. And yeah, we have good days and we have bad days, but I'm continuously growing and learning and just trying to be a better version of myself. So yeah, anyways, you guys should go like, comment, follow, give me 5 stars, all of that. I also, like I said, have a link down below where you can subscribe and support the podcast. Cash App, Venmo are also at Papi Brit, PAPI BRIT, in case you want to support me, because I am in a place where I am no longer going to be afraid to receive, but also feel worthy of receiving. So yeah, if you guys want to support, you can do so. But yeah, even just you watching and giving it a like and giving me your time, I appreciate that. So thank you. I'll see you guys in the next video.